Okay, I think we're live.
Sure.
Let me just mute this YouTube here.
I'm just making like a side screen.
Oh, there we are.
That's really happening. Okay. I like the still of it.
The what?
I'm just making like a side screen. It's okay. Always get a good one.
That's awful.
You screenshot that. I like the still of it.
The what?
I'm just making like a side screen.
Oh, wait, let me pause. Wait, turn that down.
Look, I'm trying to imitate that face. Welcome, everybody. Whoever's here.
Welcome, if anyone's here. We're just testing out this live thing. We've never done this before, so if you guys want to hang out with us while we're trying it out. Okay, so there's a live chat.
It's a little bit delay.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to mute this one, but play it. And then
How do you mute? Oh, here.
You can mute it on the video.
Oh, so that way we can just chat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you want to talk about while we're here?
I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I don't know if it's ascension symptoms or if I'm losing my mind. I'm getting concerned. It's actually a concern for me how many mistakes I'm making now. And so I had a chit chat with Jen, who's the coordinator. And yeah, she's like, you know yourself very well. So yeah. I go, I know that I'm mentally okay. Like I'm not suffering, but I know that there's something off. Like, I don't know what's declining, and that's concerning me.
Well, I think there could be a couple of things going on, but I've been feeling the same way. Like, you saw me yesterday. I was emailing clients and telling them, "Oh yeah, we have this available next week in October."
I know.
So bad. And I've been feeling it for a long time. Like the thoughts that just like I'll have a thought and it'll just drop out of this, like it'll just drop and I won't be able to grasp it anymore. And what comes through for me is that it is ascension symptoms. Well, it could be one of two things or both, because we live in a world of these discordant energies, right? Like the matrix system we live in, the energies are not coherent. So that could be affecting us as well. Or it could be ascension symptoms. And what came through for me is like we're moving more towards, using telepathy as a way of communication than actual words, communicating through energy. So the forgetfulness is kind of part of that because it's forcing us to communicate in a different way. Right. So that could be it. And what I think for you is that it's just showing you more and more that you need to get out of there, that environment.
Yeah, it is a physical thing. Like immediately once I enter the hospital, I feel it. My body just shuts. Like it, my shoulders immediately go inside, and I'm hunched.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's really bizarre to me. I actually wanted to ask you if you could put me under to explore that, to understand what's going on at work for me
Mm-hmm.
on an outer perspective. It's just because it boggles my mind. Because I mean, I don't do these things on purpose. I've already accidentally like punched two of my patients in the face. Not on purpose, obviously, but that's a lot. Like in 2 days. It's like one a day.
Yeah.
So now I'm like scared to manipulate them, the accessory near their face because I'm like careful, you might slip.
Well, you definitely don't want to be punching patients in the face.
No, no, but yeah, the days just go like I enter there and I don't know. I feel like as if the timeline changes when I'm there.
Mm.
Just yesterday, oh no, today. See, I don't even know my days anymore.
I
Um,
know.
well,
That's
yeah, you think
happening
it's still
too.
October?
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like this all of a sudden. It was just like really quiet, like silent, and then I just had like a spike in vibration, like a frequency in my ear, and I was like, I go, does anyone hear that? And they're looking at me. They're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, I don't know. Like, what's going on? I go, did anyone hear that? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, it's
I've
fine. They're
I've
like,
been
maybe you
getting
have brain meds. I'm like, oh, maybe.
I've been getting a lot of those high frequencies in my ear. Like it'll just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
loud that I was like this. Like, oh my God. Like, I know it's a frequency like coming through, but it was really loud. I was like, does anyone hear that? Someone has to hear that. It was really loud. No.
No, they don't because they're so not in their bodies. They're mostly in their heads, right? So they're not really enmeshed in the environment to be able to pick that up.
Right. And yesterday we had a fire alarm and I was smelling it like before everybody else did because they'll have like mask face, like no one could smell anything. And then we all yeah, we realized today that we're not prepared for code reds like fire alarms. No one knew what to do. Everyone was scurrying like ants everywhere, not knowing anything, like freaking out. Our team was just like, we're a team of four, and it was almost 4 o'clock. So one of the girls was like, well, I'm almost technically done. So she's like, I'm gonna go change my clothes because you can't leave the hospital in your scrubs. So she's like, I'm gonna go change my clothes. And I'm like, yeah, it's an emergency. I go, I don't think it matters. But no, they don't want COVID scrubs in their car. And then the other one's like, oh, well, I really have to go pee. Like, you think we have time? I'm like, well, wasting your time. Like, just go. The other girl was like, okay, take out our purses. We have to put them in the closet because someone might come and rob us. And I'm like, yeah. I go, let's lock it. I go, let me just put the key in my pocket. Like, I go, this is an emergency. I didn't know what the hell was going on. And then everyone was just scurrying, like I said. We said it was the pharmacy upstairs. That's what they were saying. So they let us to go upstairs. I go, why are we going to the fire? Like, are we supposed to exit? No. People are funny when they can't when they're in an emergency like that. It's just I don't understand it. It was so the opposite. Like, well, you know me, an emergency, like when that thing exploded, I was eerily like calm, like
Yeah.
socio.
Yeah. Don't you guys do like fire drills or things
That's
like
what
that?
I said. I said we have to. I go in. How long has this center been open? Like 8 years. We haven't discussed a fire drill, like who, like delegating, like whatever. And I'm just like, I go, shouldn't we have someone like point? I was just like, if you're on call that week, which we do a rotation, and you're there, you should be the one staying behind to point people to the exit until everyone's out. But they're like, no, what? That's not part of the emergency. And I'm like, okay, relax. I'll stay behind. It's fine. Like,
Yeah. So, do you want to talk about our session that we just posted?
yeah, sure. We both went under trance. I was Googling at the same time, like some information just to make sure but yeah, that was interesting to see. And we landed in the same place. I wasn't expecting like what you were seeing to be very specific, which I thought was really cool. Because I was like, I know that name. You know, like those names that you just hear, but then everything just comes together at the end. But yeah, seeing what you were seeing too. And I think like when I was, what they had to show also, what I figured out, you know, like I kept walking around with grapes, and plate of grapes. And those are things that, you know, like you feed what you see always, like when they're feeding like a god or a king or a queen, it's grapes. But I was
Yeah.
like walking around with a plate feeding other people because for them to see their own divinity in them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was really interesting. Of course, you know, while we were in it, my conscious mind is trying to figure it out and analyze what's happening. It feels so different. Like the time feels so different when you're in trance. I don't know how to explain that state. It feels like you can't really analyze what's happening. Like that function of the brain is almost not there.
Right.
You just have to say exactly what it is that is coming through to you, what you're seeing, feeling, sensing, knowing, and then you have to figure it out later because you can't like engage both of those functions of the brain at the same time. It doesn't work. So while we were in it, it felt so slow to me. But it also at the same time felt like it was only 20 minutes long and it was over an hour.
Yes. It's very different when you're in it.
We really are outside of space and time when you're in that state, which is really cool.
Yes.
And in the beginning, you know, a couple of different things were happening for me. Like I saw Dolores and Jesus and Mary first, and then that healing team with those 5 light beings came. And then there was Dave.
Yeah, we haven't seen Dave since
Yeah.
a while. Like you haven't.
Yeah.
How long ago
Dave,
was that? That was last year, no?
Oh, that was the first year I lived here, I think. It was a couple of years ago. So let me just explain Dave a little bit. So when I moved into my apartment, it was a few months after I moved in, and I had I didn't have like, I wasn't doing this. I just watched kids during the day. So I would watch the kids during the day in my home, like a little daycare kind of thing. And then, I would take naps with them. I would, take a nap when they left because I was exhausted. I was still healing from chronic illness, like really in it. And I started to be able to slip into trance like that. And this is when I started to really connect with my higher self and even get visits from spirit and things like that. So this one day, this spirit named Dave showed up, and I can't remember the whole story. Like, I think I wrote it down somewhere. I would have to go back and look, but he died in 1977, the year I was born. And he said that he waited around here all of this time for me to help him cross over. And I remember saying to him, why didn't you just ask somebody else? Right. And he's like, well, there's nobody in the area, and it's harder to travel than you think.
Right.
So I assisted him in crossing over, and that was but the weird thing was, there was some kind of link with him, with my grandfather, and also with my brother's friend Denny.
Oh yeah, Denny. That's right.
Yeah, I remember their big smiles were identical. They were almost identical. And then Denny came through at a later point, either that same day or close to it.
It was very close.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when he passed away, but I know it was. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was.
So it was
close to there.
2018, I believe. 2018. Yeah. So it was months after he died that he came through. And I just remember him, like, he just had the biggest, brightest smile. He was such a sweet guy. He died from cancer. And I remember him, oh, that's what he said. He was like, you have gifts, girl. And I was like, what do you mean? What gifts? And he's like, I can't tell you. That's for you to figure out. So, yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you're talking to him.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's when I started to tap into those abilities. But then after that meeting with that being that appeared as and called himself Satan, it stopped.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because I remember you, like, around that time, you also had that that really detailed trance where saw all your family, your mom,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, your dad, like everybody.
Everyone that has crossed over was standing in my mom's house in the kitchen. And because first I landed there, like I was in trance, definitely not asleep because I was awake, bawling my eyes out. And I saw my mom, and she was walking through the kitchen in her slippers, going to get a bowl of ice cream.
Yeah.
And she was just like standing there against the counter eating her bowl of ice cream. I remember it was so vivid. I could see like the numbers on the oven, like the dials.
The dial, yeah.
So clear and vivid. It was amazing. And then I was like, where's Dad? Is Dad here too? And I walked around the corner, and he was like sitting in the same spot he always sat, watching TV. And he was just like, hey, what's up, team? As usual. Like, he's very, just matter of fact. So I went back into the kitchen, and I was like, well, where's everybody else? Where's my mom and pops and everybody? So many people have crossed over. And then they all just like appeared in the kitchen with us. And that
wasn't Marion's father there too? Her dad?
Yeah. Chick was there. Cindy's mom was there. My aunts and my Uncle Dave, my Aunt Jody, my papa, my mom, my grandma, my cousin Vince. Yeah. And I said hello to
Was your grandma Tina there too?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I had never met her before. because she died the year I was born. Oh, so this is the next part of this story. So then my aunt and I go to this psychic medium. His name is Richard Bracconi. If anybody's in New Jersey, you should go see him. He's amazing. We go
I
to
really
him.
liked him.
Yeah. So we go to him, and he literally, so it's a group reading, and he literally spent about 45 minutes just on me and my aunt, because we had so many people on the other side, and they were all coming, like flooding through. And I could feel the people in the room like, come on already, you know? So one of the things he kept saying was, I keep hearing a spirit named Dave, a spirit named Dave, a spirit named Dave. And I was like, oh my God, that's Dave. But the other weird thing about that was I have an uncle Dave, and my grandfather's name was Dave. And when I saw the spirit Dave come through the first time, I also got an image of my grandfather. There's a picture of him like in this suit jacket with this fedora. And he showed me that image. I don't know if he showed me that image to say, like, I'm Dave, like your grandfather Dave. I don't know I never figured out what the connection was there. Or if he's like an ancestor, maybe. I don't know. And also in that reading, my grandmother Tina came forward, and she was telling him that I'm psychic like she was. And that's where I get my gifts from her. And she's been the one guiding me on this journey all this time.
Oh, we should reconnect with Tina.
Yes, we should.
Maybe we should. That should be someone to show us a couple of things.
Yeah. Tena too. I'm named after her. Yeah. Yeah, we should. That would be interesting. We should definitely. Yeah. We should connect with her. So yeah, that was that whole period of time there where all those interesting things were happening. So then Dave just randomly popped up in our session the other day.
Yeah.
And I felt like he was just visiting, just like to say, like he took the opportunity just to say hi, and he was like, I'm proud of your progress, and that was it. But yeah, I definitely landed in Egypt, and I remember like seeing the pyramids, and we landed in Egypt, and there was just this big festival going on, and the name that popped into my mind was Nefertiti. And what we learned in the session was that Nefertiti and Akhenaten were twin flames from Sirius, which I didn't say in the session, but I heard that, but my conscious mind was like, no, don't say that. I don't know why.
Maybe because everything, I don't know. Maybe because my connection is Sirius. It's always something that just comes up first. Because even for me, when I was in the spaceship, for example, with the blue light, I knew it was Sirius, but I didn't say it either. Because there's that part of me too that's saying like, oh, it's always Sirius. Just like me seeing Jesus in the Atlantis or whatever, and I'm like, I don't want to say that.
Right. But what I realized since that session was that it is always serious, because it's always serious. And that's just what it is, because that's where their souls come from.
Yeah, I should figure, because I'm from there.
Right. And so yeah, there's that connection there. And so I've asked them about the session since it happened. And they said that they are taking us back through time, because right in our first session together, they took us to Jesus and Mary, right? To the crucifixion. They kind of showed us like they are our guides, right? We carry aspects of them. So they were showing us like, this is your mission. This is what you have to do now. You have to overwrite these crucifixion codes pretty much and help to anchor in the Sophia Christ energy.
Mm-hmm.
So what they said about the Nefertiti and Akhenaten session was that is them too. And they're going to keep, every time we go in, they're going to keep taking us back through Earth's history to show us how they've had different incarnations throughout the years in order to assist the population with new concepts and ideas. And so this one with Akhenaten and Nefertiti was the idea of one God, monotheism, because they used to worship multiple gods. They had like a God for everything, right? So this was the idea. This is the first time it came into the consciousness that it's to only worship one God. And they were up against a lot of resistance with that idea. So every time they come in, they're up against resistance because they're going against the grain of the collective consciousness.
Yes.
So yeah, I thought that was really interesting how like there's that theme there, and it's not just Jesus and Mary, but it's like it goes back over and over through history and the reincarnations of these twin flame couples who are bringing forward this, giving humanity the opportunity to grow and expand if they would only take it at the time, right? But they're always met by that resistance. What did you think about it?
Oh, it's just really interesting to see and to feel. Like, even when you're like, what do you look like? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I was looking at my hands, but they were like far away from my face because they were so long. And then I was just like touching my chin and it never ended. And then I was going up here on my head and I was like, oh, how far is it going? Like, also, like, yeah, I thought that was really cool. And just to see how, what's it called? Especially like when we were in the spaceship and you can see the divide in those that were open to or that knew the truth versus the ones that were resisting the truth. Which
Yeah,
is
and it
extremely
was
parallel.
right. It's very parallel to today, what's happening today. All of us that volunteered to be here that are trying to assist humanity in awakening and feeling that resistance from them. So yeah. So what Nefertiti and Akhenaten did was they brought in this idea of monotheism and the Aten, or the sun. And what they've told me since about that was, hold on, let me find it. It's called a religion in the history or whatever, but they said it wasn't a religion at all. It was a free and open communication with source and via the sun, like through the sun. We used the idea of sun worshiping because it was easy for the people to conceptualize. It was something real and physical that they could grasp and understand. But really, they were communicating with the one true God. And this was the first time monotheism was introduced to the population on Earth. So they say we intuited going in that we may have some struggles, and they did. They had a lot of struggles.
That's true. The fifth world says Sirius is the true sun.
There you go.
Thank you. Glad you all participating.
Great.
It's nice to see you. Who's here? Mima and the fifth world. Welcome.
Oh, hi, guys. Thanks for being here. I didn't know anybody was going to come to our live, so
We're just chatting.
we're just chatting. So yeah. They also said the people of the time were confused about how there could only be one God, and they also wanted to worship them as gods. But they were trying to teach the people that, like, no, we're the same. They were trying to show them their own
The oneness. Yeah.
the oneness and the divinity within them too. But they were carrying so much, doubt in themselves and lack of self-worth and feelings of inferiority and abandonment and lack of trust. And they also compared themselves to these off-planet beings, right? So they ended up being really frustrated and resentful of the Pharaoh and his wife because they said we tried to teach them the power of their own intuition and heart discernment, and we brought with us technology that could help open them up to new worlds. We could travel by thought alone or by ship. This was a fun life. And I said, well, what happened? Why the rebellion? And they said, our ideas went against the cultural grain of conditioning. And while initially they embraced us, soon they came to resent us. And this was because they couldn't find their own power within. They relied on us for everything. And when we pointed them back inward, time and time again, they grew frustrated. They didn't want to heal. They didn't want to evolve, to grow, or expand. And so when their frustration and resentment grew to a boiling point, there was an uprising of the people. It was dangerous, so we left and went back to Sirius. And they said, and this is when we saw them leaving in their ship and then blasting the light down. They said we were always on shaky ground, like walking a tightrope, but here we were no longer welcome. And what I saw, the vision that I saw in our session it was just kind of like a still screen of just like people rising up. It was like, just like a crowd of people like with their fists in the air, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Nice. I don't know. I didn't see it that way. I just saw them, like those that were open were on the ground, just like looking up and just feeling that light, getting like really as if they were receiving downloads or something like that. And then the other ones that were resisting were really like, it looked like more like a modern thing for me, where they were like in their homes and they're kind of closing the blinds, but then you see like kids that are just opening up the blinds just to look because they know. Yeah, that's what it felt like. Let's see what we got here. Mima, Fifth World. It's nice, blessed to be here. And she said, Mima says, I remember our sun being more yellow when I was younger. Yeah, because it's not. Tell me, are you going to talk about the fake sun? So many topics to talk about.
I know. I remember that too. And I was actually looking at pictures of it yesterday, like for the video. And all the pictures are of this yellow sun. I'm like, where did this yellow sun go?
Yeah, it's gone. It got sucked up. It went home. It went back to Sirius. Say goodbye, peace.
Like, did we float away from it? I don't know. Like, is our sun fake now? Because it is really strong.
It's really strong. I remember I couldn't even look at it. Usually, okay, this is how I feel like it's evolved. Because, okay, when I go on road trips, the sun sometimes is in my face. And I could usually tolerate a sun being in my face by, because I usually drive and I don't use the visor because I'm too short. So I'm very used to not driving without it. But now I need it because I could usually drive without it. I have no problem driving without it. But now it's too much. I can't drive with it. Like I have to try to figure out a way to like boost myself higher so that it's not in my face.
Well,
Because it's a lot stronger.
there's also something behind the sun, like at 1 o'clock, there's another being there. There's something there. You can see it in pictures. And there's also, I've seen
the other planet, no.
it, maybe a planet. I mean, nobody really knows what it is. What's Sirius? Is it Sirius orbiting the sun or two suns?
I don't know. You have to wait for the answer.
Yeah, this is our first live, so just
Yeah.
getting used to this.
Yeah, we don't have it. It's not smooth. We're working on it. Is a reflection of the light within us. Sirius emanating through the sun disk is what I have been shown. Well, there's just so much to learn.
There's so much.
Will we ever really know it all?
Yeah. So much. I mean, because I've seen pictures of that planet like behind the sun, right? And I've seen pictures of the two suns. But what I learned about the two suns, right? Because in other hypnosis sessions, people have seen the two suns that used to be here on Earth. But what I've learned about that is that what they were calling the second sun was actually a planet called Tiamat, and it was a mostly water planet, so it was super bright. It wasn't a sun, but it kind of reflected the light of the sun and acted as a mirror almost. So it looked like a sun, but it actually wasn't.
Right.
Yeah. That planet ended up exploding in the end. Yeah.
That was a really sad ending.
Yeah. I know. So after we saw that life of Nefertiti and Akhenaten, after they left in their spaceship and went back to Sirius, then where did we go after that? Where are we taken after that? Atlantis.
Atlantis. Right? Yeah. So I was up. I mean, we visited Atlantis a few times in sessions, so I mean, I recognize it. I know what it looks like from where I usually stand. I'm usually at the top, and then I could see down. So all of, the water and, all the little, what's it called? It looks like stairs, like descending. But then you can go like on different levels. You can go into like probably different streets that have like, little shops and things like that, homes and whatnot. Can you imagine that? Yeah, you can see that, right? And so I'm just standing there, and then I see my feet, and they're male feet, and I'm wearing sandals with like drapey outfit with like loose jogging pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was like seeing it like, okay, I was like, okay, well, Jesus here, and then I started floating, like levitating. And like as we were going like closer or like just seeing like lower, like it started feeling like I could feel already like this what felt like a smog of density like rising. So I was just like, I don't know what's going on down there, but I kind of don't want to go there because it feels really heavy just knowing that it's there and I got to walk through that. But then we saw in the distance like that tsunami, the water just coming. But it was so far because it was, you don't even realize like how big it is until you can see like that tsunami coming. But it's not, I don't know, I felt like it was such a gradual pull. And then you just see people just like freaking the fuck out down there, like and trying to come upward while they're being like washed away.
I think that's probably why I've always had nightmares of tsunamis. I've always been terrified by tsunamis ever since I was a child, and I didn't even know what they were, you know. But that's
Right.
what I saw in the session. Like I just saw like a still of a tsunami coming.
Yeah, you've had a lot of tsunami dreams or dreams about that. I remember you would be like at the beach or something, and there would be like some water thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was terrified of the water when I was little.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember one time we got stuck. It's funny too, because Jesus in that session was talking about channels, like the streams of consciousness. He was referring to them like channels and saying, don't get stuck in the channels. And when I was little, one of my traumas is that we were out in this little tiny boat in the river and we got stuck in the channel when the motor wouldn't start and there was a freighter coming and
God.
everyone on the boat was freaking out. So I was terrified. So I thought that was interesting how those words were chosen. Don't get stuck in the channel.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
right. I don't know how to explain that. Like when I'm in it, I guess speaking.
Oh, the fifth world says Saturn sent the tsunami. It won't happen this time. Yeah, I really feel that too. I really feel like this is going to be a good ending, like really, really deep down. I just know that it's going to be good.
Me too. I'm scared
And
of water, like big water. They're saying they're scared of swimming in the ocean or lake. I'm the same. I always like to just stay by the where I have control.
yeah,
I don't like going in. I can't. My uncle died from an undertow type thing in the water. So I don't know if it's that or maybe Atlantis. I don't know. There's several reasons why I can't either.
yeah, I'm not a big fan of. I'm better now. Like if the water's clear and I can see through it and it's not rough, I love the water. I actually really love it. But if they're like really rough waves and
Me neither.
stuff like that.
Yeah, I like the little tiny lake thing that we go to near your house. Like that's cute. Sit there, play with the sand, pick some shells, you
Yeah.
know, make a
Yeah.
little pee pee in peace. People know my secrets.
Yeah, you just said that live.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Mm.
Yes, Jesus the Nazarene. Everyone is here for the shift. Yeah,
Yes.
we
Thank
are.
God. Thankfully we are. Oh, by the way, sorry, this is really off topic, but let's talk about the two different communities in the spiritual community. I was noticing it today in your Instagram feed.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I was very not I'm not surprised, but it's very yeah, I find it so like wow. Okay. And it's aggressive. The energy is so
Very aggressive.
aggressive. Very
Very,
aggressive.
very aggressive. People are, yeah, I was feeling it too. Like the divide in the spiritual community is so polarized. So, so, so polarized. It really does hurt my heart to see that because, but really, it's just a reflection of the bigger reality and how divided we really are. Um,
Right.
like Jesus was saying in the session, it's like the polarities are like increasing with the, between the mask wearers and the non-mask wearers and um, the people that believe COVID is a hoax and the people that don't, or whatever it is, like all of these topics just have people so, so, so polarized. And that's what he was saying, like, don't try not to get caught up in those streams and those storylines, but and don't get stuck in those channels, but try to see the higher perspective while also exposing the darkness, because that's part of it too. Like, if we don't look at the darkness, we can't heal anything we don't look at. So we have to be able to look at and expose, shine the light, illuminate that darkness in order to even begin to heal it. So all of the so-called conspiracy theories aren't conspiracy at all. I mean, well, they are conspiracies, but they're not theories. And, you know,
I think that's what scares people, is that they're not theories anymore, because they have to seriously question the reality and the narrative that they've been living pretty much their whole life. So, I mean, if you're living a lie and waking up to, oh my God, my whole life has been a lie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty harsh, because if you're really just like putting all your, banking all of this on that one truth, and now it's just like complete bullshit. Yeah. That's a hard pill to swallow. I understand that for a lot of people. I mean, like, we had to do it in very small doses, like with our own, let's say, relationships, or, whatever it was that we had learned along the way. Those were all like hard pills to swallow. Mm-hmm. And like learning about new realities and understanding that the world is run. I mean, if you can like broaden your perspective and just see what is really happening in the global picture of things, like, okay, the world is run, it's corrupt, it's fucking upside down now.
It's literally
upside down. Everything is upside down. And just hold that knowing, instead of getting caught into, I guess, because we're so compelled, like human beings are really so, we have to pick a side. You have to pick one. And you have to, and then we're like trying to micromanage all the sides we're picking, all the teams we're playing for, And I think that's what he was saying by the channels, like, don't get caught in this one, don't get caught in this one. It's really just illuminate what is, like you said, and then at the same time holding that light for everything that is divided or polarized. It's a big job. Like, I'm tired. Like, I want to go to the lake.
It's exhausting, right?
I want to go to the lake and make my little pee-pee.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's well, what I feel like is happening is that it's going to keep polarizing.
Mm-hmm. And keep because we have to keep seeing how intense and how upside down it is. Mm-hmm. My God, did you guys see the freaking tree in Times Square? Like, what's happening with the world? What a mess.
That tree is just like a symbol of 2020,
Yeah, just like how they were saying, like that meme that you showed. I saw that a while ago, and I thought it was so funny.
Let me find it.
Yeah, I've even like what was it? The optimist says that the glass is half full, and the pessimist says that glass is half empty, and 2020 is saying, is that pee in the glass? Like, yes, it is pee.
Yeah. Wait, let me see if I can find it. It's so funny.
Yeah, has anyone been feeling the energies? Like, how does that make you feel?
How does that
make you feel? Does it make you feel good? You motivated in the morning? My alarm goes off and I'm like, oh God. Like, it's not dread, because I know it's all temporary, because I still work like a full-time job. So I don't know. Like, I still have to participate in the matrix in that way.
Right.
That's where it's a little like, ugh, I have to participate with people who don't know. Okay. And they know not. Oh God, I can't with that tree. Like, just.
This is the Rockefeller Square Christmas tree in New York City.
Ta-da! Isn't everyone excited that the holidays are coming?
And the other crazy thing about this is there was an owl wrapped in, it was wrapped up. This owl was wrapped up and left in the tree for 3 days without food or water. And I guess
That's crazy.
that's crazy. Like, this tree is crazy.
So they're pretty much
What?
just saying, like, the holidays are dead.
The holidays are dead.
The holidays are dead. This tree has
Look at
COVID.
this poor little owl.
Oh my God.
Well, what's the owl symbolism? Isn't that the one? Look how angry he looks here.
Yeah.
I'd be too. Poor thing.
Yeah,
So
that's really sad.
So sad. Crazy. Yeah. I don't know. Did you guys see that tree? Did everybody leave us?
No, they're still here.
Sensitivity to foods. What kind of foods, Myrna?
Mima. Myrna.
I
can't see. I don't have my glasses. Oh my God.
Where's your glasses?
It's away. Yeah, that's terrible. I can't see. I'm sorry. Ah, yes. 5G. Good point. There's just so much going on. It's like we can't even keep up with all the agendas that are happening simultaneously. So it's like I feel like when I talk about it to my coworkers, it's like they're like, "Oh, what else is going on?" Like Tom Hanks is eating kids, Karen, and I'm like, "Yeah, he is." And the 5G and the cabal, and it's like they think I'm nutty. Like, but it's everything and it's all true. Fuck. Like, I could see like how I sound crazy. I remember like when I really got into the revelation with Tina, like about the vaccinations, and I was just so intense about it. Like I was just like, how do people not know this? Like how did I fall for that? And I vaccinated my kids, I vaccinated myself. So I was telling my sister about it, like a crazy lady in the grocery store. I was pushing the cart and I was like, yeah, and can you believe that they put like formaldehyde? Like who the hell, we've been putting that in our bodies. Did you know that? Like, and I'm pushing the cart, like looking at my apples, like, what? It's going like, yeah, you sound crazy.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's bad. So yeah, vaccines, the media, all the media is corrupt. What else? Yeah, during the COVID lockdown, they put the 5G in the schools and the hospitals.
Yeah, and your kids have been getting headaches and stomach aches every day.
Yeah, my kids it's really bad. Which I haven't heard back from their principal yet. So
really nothing? Yeah, so that must mean there's 5G in the school.
I'm gonna message her myself and ask her again. I have her email, so yeah, I'm gonna ask her because like I want an answer, and yeah, I demand an answer.
Myrna, oh my God, I cannot eat popcorn anymore. It kills my stomach. Corn in general is like the worst thing we can eat because it's completely not even its original form anymore. It's so modified. And it's really not good for us. Yeah. Yeah. So I've been feeling the best with just juicing recently, and juicing and eating fruit. That's when I feel my best. Other than that, like if I eat junk food or pizza or anything, I wake up the next morning and feel awful. So yeah, I mean, Ascension is requiring us to eat lighter, more vibrant living foods. in order to prepare our bodies for the energies because they're so intense, right? So we want to be as light as we can be.
Oh, that's good. What kind of food have you started to grow? Like you're making your own garden? That's lovely. Do you want to
Oh,
show them
that's
your little
amazing.
garden?
My little garden.
I think it's cute. Your little glass of onion. Yeah. I should start my own garden. I still have like a drawer of seeds that I got at the bank.
I just got the thought from my guides to regrow my onions. So that's what's happening here. Yeah. I would love to grow stuff. In the summer we had a little community garden at my what's this called? An apartment complex. We had a little community garden.
It's called.
So that was really nice. But the winter time's hard. It's fine. It's hard to find good produce and it's hard to grow when you're in a tiny little apartment. So yeah, I'm just growing my green onions here. And I was going to order like microgreens. They make it really easy for you now. Like you get the little thing, little box thing, and you just put the thing down and you water it and they grow. Really easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to do that.
Kale.
A food forest. What's a food forest?
Well, it sounds like a really big thing.
What?
A food forest? It just sounds like a big, forest. Like, I just see like this go in your backyard and you're just like, oh, can eat everything.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Where are you at, Myrna? Are you somewhere warm? Hydroponics.
Hydroponics.
I haven't, Deborah. That's a good idea. I guess that's kind of like what the microgreens are. I'm really not, like, I know nothing about growing anything. I'm really bad.
Oh my God, me too.
Well, this is what we have to do moving forward. Like, we're going to have to learn, because we can't be dependent on the system for food anymore.
Right, because of that food shortage too. Are you guys experiencing a food shortage where you're living? I guess not you, Myrna, because you have a forest. But for the rest of the folk out there.
Montana.
Yeah. Microgreens. Yeah, we got to do our research, being like.
Yeah. Aquaponic system to grow crustaceans?
What does that
Whoa.
mean? Do you have a YouTube page?
What kind of crustaceans?
Show us how to do that.
Like they're like sea animals, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say like I don't know anything about nothing, so please educate us. I don't know. Like I think yours is pretty. I already thought your glass of onions is fancy. Like, you're talking about growing crustaceans, and I'm like, all right, that's cool. What to do with that? Shrimp. That's cool.
Wow. And crab?
You're growing this, Myrna? Wow, you really put him into school. Like I can't even grow anything. Growing is hard, yeah. You're like, but here's some shrimp and crab that I've grown in my. That's so funny. I'm jealous. I'm just really jealous. I was like, you got it made, girl. Good for you.
Facebook has hydroponics for beginners. Definitely beginners. Not yet, but working towards it. So
That's awesome.
She has her vision.
A forest. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, if you're like vegetarian, I mean, you have a forest, a garden forest. You're good. I think that's already good. Like you're self-sufficient and yeah, you're gonna be the only one living in the world. It's up this ascension is up to you, Myrna.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are doing this now, starting even,
Like
when
little
this,
communities.
yeah, little communities, like when this all started last March, people were starting then, like, plant your own food, because I mean, everybody sees it coming.
Yeah.
I mean, the truckers are supposed to go on strike, what, the 27th and 28th? So that's going to shut down the supply lines. And, you know, apparently grocery stores only have enough for like 3 days before they need to be restocked. So, when you control the food, you control the people. And,
Absolutely.
if people are starving, they're going to be like, okay, you want to eat, take the vaccine, you know? That's why it's so important to be self-sufficient. So yeah, we got to get on those Facebook groups and do the research. There's a connection between awakening and cultivating. Yeah, I believe that. I mean, because we're going back to the old ways, right? We're not really doing anything new for this ascension. We're going back to the old ways of Lemuria, where they grew their own food and they lived on just fruits and vegetables and things, vibrant living foods that added life force to your body. There wasn't any of this processed or packaged food. And they lived and thrived that way. So 5D is just going back to those old ways and learning how to do those things for ourselves.
Yeah.
Like how disconnected we've come from each other and the land itself, that we don't even know how
To
to
grow
grow.
anything? Right.
Yeah.
I went to Costco today and I couldn't breathe with the mask. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's me at work. I wear a mask all the time, and then I have my boss coming around telling us to put on our goggles.
You remember Lemuria, Deborah? Tell us what you remember. Oh my God, they're so rude. This guy, I was in Walmart the other day and I just refuse to wear a mask when I go in Walmart. And if they haven't had anyone at the door recently, but they put them back there because they're starting to lock down again, like we all knew they were going to. So I walk in and the guy said something to me. I'm like, oh, I have health issues. And I walked away and, he didn't do anything, which they don't. Every time I've said that, they don't do anything. They can't, because if they, what's it called? Discriminate against you, then they can be sued for the Disability Act. So they don't say anything and they just let you go most of the time. So I went through the whole store. I was probably in there for an hour. There were people everywhere, workers everywhere. I must have passed like 20 or 30 of them and no one said a word. I get to the checkout. I got my last two things to check out, and this older man comes over and he's like, "Miss, you have to put your mask on." And I was like, I have health issues. And he was like, well, I don't know what to do. And I was like, well, I don't know. So I just went about bringing out my stuff, and I felt bad for him because he really was stumped. Like he had no idea what to say or what to do. And I saw him go make a phone call or something. But, the person that he called must have told him that there was nothing he could do. So then he didn't do anything. And I left
Yeah.
the store.
You gotta
But
lift your mic up.
it scratches.
Yeah, you're pulling a Karen.
Yeah. I know the mask thing really gets to me. You felt shame, Myrna. Yeah, it does make us feel that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good. glad you released that energy.
Yeah, yesterday at the fire alarm, everybody was outside. You just see all doctors, nurses, technologists, all outside with their masks on. I was the only one without a mask on. And I'm like, I go, why don't y'all take it off? Like, they're like, oh, because we're not social distancing. I was like, oh, get out of here, fuck.
Well, don't you find that medical personnel are the
The
worst?
worst. They are the worst. Oh,
Because
yeah.
they're so indoctrinated.
Oh, yeah. It's so bad. Like, because they've closed all entrances. You have to only enter by one entrance. So they were saying, like, my boss was coming around. She's like, oh, yeah, just so you know, like, we are allowed, the radiation oncology team is allowed to go back in from the downstairs entrance. And a lot of us were like, ooh, like, oh my God, really? Like, you're opening the door for us? But then the chief oncologist was there holding the door for us. And she's like, don't forget, everybody, you have to wash your hands upon entering. And I was like, oh, get the fuck out of here. Like, we're like, as if we're like 4-year-olds lining
Right.
up to go back to our fucking prison.
Don't even get me started about the kids though, because that really gets to me. Like these kids are going to be so traumatized, you know. The worst, you know, when I'm in say Walmart without a mask, do you know who looks at me the most? It's the kids.
Mm,
Because they're like, "Oh my God, what's wrong with her?"
right.
You know, and she must be bad because she doesn't have her mask on.
Yeah, she doesn't care about my grandma. That's what they say. You know, yeah, well, you're not wearing a mask because you could give it to me and I could give it to my elderly parent. And I'm like, get out of here, fuck.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is. It's just the whole mask thing is just virtue signaling. Like it's just
Right.
like I'm a
It's like
good person,
shaming, right? It's
right? And shaming those that choose not to submit to that because it's a humiliation ritual. That's what this is.
mhm.
It has nothing to do with science. And like the people that say like, don't you believe in science? Yeah, I do. And I believe on the side of the box when it says like
Does
this
not
does
do
not
anything.
protect you against COVID. I believe OSHA, who says that people wearing masks in public do not work and are ineffective besides the fact that they have health risks. I believe
Right.
that.
And yeah, so do I. And it's like, and people, I'm like, who get tested for COVID? It's all the fucking mask wearers. Obviously doesn't work. Like,
Well, that study I just posted today proved that. It was a study from Denmark. There was 0.3% difference in mask and non-mask wearers.
mhm.
So that proves it right there. Literally does nothing. There are lawsuits coming. Yes. It breaks my heart too. I wrote a blog about the kids. I just was so heartbroken over the things I've been seeing.
Yeah, we should sue them and then take the money and make a forest, what's it?
Food
A
forest.
garden. Yeah, food forest.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good idea. And then feed everybody.
Yeah, feed everybody. We have enough food right now in this world to feed every single person on the planet.
Yeah.
Plus, but they don't do it. They won't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to think about the masks. They say you can only wear them like for 4 hours and then you have to change your mask. But it's like for me, it's like you're breathing in that air, that heat, and it's not circulating. So you're breathing it in and you're creating like what do you call it? Fungus. Like
Well,
whatever it is.
actually, the rise of candida is directly correlated to the use of masks.
Right. And that's what I was saying. And they're like, oh, come on, Karen. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, think about it.
Oh, come on, Karen.
Think about, yeah. Oh, come on, Karen.
You must be like, I don't know.
I'm the crazy lady
Yeah.
at in the hospital. I'm like, okay, you wait. I go, you wait when you have no immune system because you wash your hands. You put that alcohol on your hands every 20 seconds.
Yeah.
I go, we'll see how sick. I mean, how in good health you are in a couple of years. I'll come visit you in your isolation.
In your isolation. Yeah, there's no evidence. And they do, because what you're doing is what the lungs are doing is exhaling toxins from your body, right? You're exhaling the CO2 and whatever else you're exhaling. And when you wear a mask, you're keeping all of that in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not off gassing. You're not
Right.
allowing your body to release those toxins. You're breathing them back in. So of course that's not good for you. It's just common sense. You don't need science to tell you that. It's common sense. Like that's what the lungs do. They're detoxing the body.
Mm-hmm.
So how does it make sense to breathe your own air back in after you've just breathed it out? I mean, come on.
Right. Right. I was wondering too. I was like, is that related to why I'm having like this major brain fog too? Because like I'm breathing the same freaking air all day.
Do you ever test your pulse ox?
What is that? My O2?
Yeah.
No. But
You
I don't
should.
wear it. I don't wear it as much as I do. Like I really don't. The moment I can remove it, I'm removing it. Like it's come to a point where like I just stop. Like I don't even go to the bathroom, for example. I don't go. I don't wear a mask to just cross the hallway to go to the bathroom. I'm like, come on. They're like, you have to
Yeah.
wear your mask when you get out of here. I'm like, oh God, I can't. Like, you need to get out of here.
Yeah. You need to get in your Uber and start delivering.
Yeah, it's happening. It's gonna happen. Anyway, well,
So, so Sasha is getting people together for what? Class action suits? Is that what you're saying? Yes, you are breathing bacteria and viruses because viruses aren't what we've been told they are. They're actually just a natural part of the body that helps us and assists our body in detoxing. So, yes. I think my thing is frozen.
all
All
right. I'll wrap it
right,
up.
guys. It's been really fun hanging out with you guys. We're going to have to do this again.
Yeah, I'm happy at the turnout. The people who are brave enough to say hello.
I know. Myrna and Deborah and the Fifth World. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys.
Yeah, sharing your
We're going to,
knowledge.
yeah, and share. I love like the interaction. And it's not just us talking to each other.
You know.
um, yeah, we're going to, yeah, we're just practicing our live to hopefully share some sessions live, maybe if our clients agree to it. That would be fun too.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Thank you, everybody. It was really good to hang out with you guys tonight.
Thank
Be
you,
safe out
Deborah.
there. Breathe the fresh air. Enjoy your gardens. Give us some tips. Like, what's easy? Because I live in an apartment. And
Deborah said hydroponics or something.
so we could just grow that, like use that in the house. Because it gets really cold here. I live in Eastern Canada, so it's starting to get cold.
Yeah, you grow it in the house, I think.
Yeah, I need tips. Like, I don't know. Like, you really have to teach us, like, you're talking to alien.
Yeah. Okay, well, maybe we'll jump on just to do like
Oh, yeah. See, Myrna says
microgreens.
microgreens. Okay, I gotta write that down.
Yeah,
Microgreens in apartment. Okay, good.
Yeah, my Aunt Bonnie sent me a link for the microgreens. I'll send them to you. It's really easy.
Okay, good. I like that. Easy. It has to be easy because like if it's too complicated and I gotta wake up at 4 o'clock and spin them, like I don't it just sounds like a lot. Make sure the lamp is on it.
Yeah, well, if you want to eat, you're going to have to grow your own food, right?
Hydroponics,
I got my
microgreens, small
onions.
space. I know, I'm gonna start getting the onions.
They even have like broccoli, like microgreen broccoli.
Well, when I was younger, I used to do mung beans.
What's that?
You know, like those green little beans? And I would put them on a paper towel, wet paper towel, and you just put them on there and they start sprouting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a little thing I used to do. Used to.
Well, that's just like my onions in water.
Grow other stuff in pots. Okay. Gonna have to buy like a kit.
Starters kit, beginners.
Yeah, I gotta educate myself. Yes. Thank you, everybody, for your wisdom. We appreciate and love you. Thank you.
Love you so much. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Bye, y'all.
I don't know how to end this.
Just close the whole system.